All right, folks, we are back, and I'm going to bring on right now the one and only Brittany.
Hey.
Politically Provoked. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry about my fuzziness. I swear I'm going to get it fixed at some point. It's my bees. But
It's all right. Nothing wrong with that. Fuzziness will do for our conversation today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
We're having a great gathering talking about this crazy pastor and this, of course, failure of the system, thankfully, to prosecute these guys who were doing stupid things. I mean, saying stupid things, but that you don't go to jail for life for that. And that's what they were trying to do. But
was this some like headline story? I haven't heard about this.
Oh, it's the Gretchen Whitless story.
Oh, okay.
She was going to be kidnapped, and like I said,
yeah, they got off, right?
Yes, they were acquitted, but there are two still in jail, and I don't know if they're going to retry them or what's going to end up happening with that. But yeah, it was. It's crazy that the FBI and other law enforcement agencies, it's not just the FBI, but they seem to be the most corrupt. That they will insert a bunch of people. And this joke, I mean, you think about this joke about if the people used to talk about a Klan meeting, and if there are 8 people, 7 of them are with the FBI, and the other guy thought he was, going to show up at a model train meeting. He's just like, okay, buddy, now we're going to, that's the Ku Klux Klan in the United States. It's all FBI informants and agents. But
wow, yeah, I haven't really followed too much since like that broke. But I'll have to check more into that. Yeah, all I heard was that they got off, and so people are very happy about that.
Yeah, yeah, thankfully, because I don't know. Do you know who's paying their who's paying for their lawyers, or were they just appointed by the court?
Oh no, I wouldn't know that. You seem to know a lot more about this than I would.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things where we see this. We have so many people in the sphere who encourage violent talk and stupid things and playing the villain and doing stupid things, and then the folks get arrested for that, and then they want to raise tons of money for the lawyers for what was predictable, and that money ends up being wasted because we could have used those resources to advocate for white well-being and to do good things for our people, rather than trying to get dummies out of hot water that shouldn't have been doing what they were doing.
Right, exactly. No, I agree with that completely.
It's wild.
But I haven't really followed it too much, so I can't give quite a good. I remember when the story broke, and they got them where they were trying to get them for life in prison.
Oh, well, it would have been essentially, I don't know how many years each, but attempted kidnap and murder and to initiate a civil war.
That'll do it. That'll probably get it.
Yeah, and no parole board is going to be easy on a white guy who's a heretic to this anti-white system.
Right.
They're just going to say, no, you get to stay forever in jail.
They got a mistrial, or they actually got off?
I think 2 of them were mistrial. Yeah. And the other, it might be 1 or 2 of the other ones were released. Okay. They were acquitted. Oh. So, but there's nothing wrong with your banner. A little bit of fuzziness. That's not a big deal.
It's so fuzzy. They call it, well, like I have on my Discord, Queen Bee. These are all my little my bees. So Queen Brittany and all her little bees. So there you go.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say it depends on how inebriated or intoxicated people in the audience are as they look on it. They might think that it's just them.
Yeah, it's definitely them. It's not me at all. The black spots you're seeing is all in your head.
But that it does behind you there. It looks great. The Politically Provoked is the show, and folks, I appeared with this wonderful lady over on this show a little while back. I hope I can go back soon.
Yes,
and I wanted to have her over here on Going Free and introduce her to all of you. If you didn't know, they were on. You all were on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we were on YouTube. We are no longer on YouTube. We will be starting on Cozy TV on Tuesday. So,
that's awesome. Well, congratulations. Fantastic.
Yeah, we did get a channel. It is followable. So at cozy.tv/politically provoked, you can follow it now.
Well, great. Is it already up for?
Yeah, the channel's up. We're doing a big inaugural stream on Tuesday. I think Mark Collette's actually going to be doing a debate for us.
Nice.
We got I think about 3 debates and probably a panel. We're going to have, do you know who Infrared is?
I've heard, but I'm not placing a face. And
yeah, Haas infrared. He's like a communist. Him and Nick Fuentes are gonna have a discussion, and we got another debate with probably some people you don't know on if women are property, and
women are property.
Yeah, and then Mark Collette should be doing a great replacement debate. So got all that.
Well, I'm gonna want to see all of those. I mean, that sounds really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, folks should turn out for that. Women are property.
Good stuff.
Well, I think that the issue there is whether or not they volitionally want to become property of a man, or just to make them become property. That's the difference, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it though. I see how this
how did you start? Because you weren't there wasn't always a Politically Provoked. Were you on any shows before then, or did you have another show before then, or how did this get started?
No, we all came from Facebook. We were just like hanging out in Facebook. We had political groups in Facebook, and we liked to argue with each other. And then when COVID happened, we started to do little live streams, but they were in private groups. We weren't like doing anything with it. But we just had people come on every week, and people really liked it. They they looked forward to having these discussions when everybody was, they couldn't do anything. And then we got this right-wing debater that it was far right in our world. Like we didn't, Facebook is very boomer friendly, and you don't really have, it's like very mainstream. So seeing somebody that's like kind of, on the dissident right wasn't, most of them been kicked off of Facebook. So like he came around and started doing debates, and he was just crushing these debates. Like these left wingers, I didn't know right wingers could debate like that.
That's right, because you were consider yourself a leftist at the time.
Yeah,
right?
I started out as the left wing host, and then I got red pilled. Now, oh well. But
so wait, hold on one sec. So you say the host. These were still debates that were just happening on Facebook at the time, or
yeah. These were just like Facebook debates. I wasn't actually even on the show at this point. I was just it was my Facebook groups, and we were just doing a lot of the planning and stuff.
Okay.
It was somebody else that was hosting it. But when this right winger came along, and he was kind of saying things like our host had quit because it was too much for him, and I got thrown into becoming the host. And I didn't want to, because like I just never really did all this type of stuff. I was more than content with just planning it. Right. But I got thrown into it because we didn't want to stop the show. And we started doing it on YouTube a little bit. We were struggling to find left-wingers to debate this guy. So I just put out a tweet thinking, just random people on Twitter might want to do a live debate. And all of a sudden, Destiny responded, and he was interested. So like my tweet, I think said, if there's anybody who wants to do a live debate, any left-wingers that want to do a live debate, we have this right-winger that keeps crushing the left-wingers every time, and it's really annoying. So, I mean, I guess it was like good bait. I wasn't really trying to bait big people. I didn't even know people like Destiny. I didn't know who Destiny was. I didn't know who Vosh was. I didn't know about the debate world. This was all completely brand new to me.
Okay.
So Destiny responded. And after that debate, we just kind of started to get a lot of other we got Vosh, we got a bunch of other big people. We started to kind of take it a little bit more seriously, and it just started to blow up really fast. Like we got, I don't know, like 8,000 followers on YouTube in like 6 months. And
wow.
Yeah, so and then we lost our YouTube.
Well, when was this? How long ago was it that you all were climbing in your sub count and this was taking place?
The Destiny debate, I believe, was like March or April of last year. And we just kind of we started to, like obviously every time he came on because he's done a few debates for us. Every time he would come on, we'd get like, like 500 new subscribers. But like we didn't just do big debates. Like we wanted to have, entry level debates. We wanted like a platform where anybody like that is interested in doing debates would be able to have a place they can debate. So what we would also do is do interviews, and had a library of debaters. So we had like a left-wing library and a right-wing library. And we asked basic questions of like their policies, the topics they're interested in debating, just going through a checklist. So people who are interested in debates, they can go through that library and see if there's somebody they want to debate and let us know. And we can just like match it up and host it.
Cool.
So we had that little setup, but
and did you have the same Did you have the two guys that are your co-hosts at that point at the beginning?
Well, no, it started off like with me and I think like 5 other people. We split into 3 and 3 at one point. They just couldn't handle the guy that was the right winger that was debating for us. And then our main hosts, it ended up with just me and Todd. Then the other one came back, so we're back to our 3. So we're good now. And he's been getting a little red pilled himself, I think.
Yeah. So that's what happened to you. I mean, you were exposed. And this is one of the things that anti-whites. I mean, I told a reporter many years ago when I worked on the Hill in Washington that the reason why you all silence us who have these views that are antithetical to the anti-white narrative is because you know that if people hear what we have to say, you will lose control over them.
Yeah.
And so essentially you heard you finally were exposed to these arguments and you slowly started to come away from those views. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm like a perfect example of it because I was very, like every left-wing position you could think of, I followed it religiously. I was very anti-Trump. I even had, it's funny. I even had the white guilt, like where I was sitting there saying well, who cares if white people become a minority? They've all done all these horrible things. And then somebody put it in a way they framed it in a way where they're not going to know if you're the good white person or the bad white person, basically, if this happens. Like it's gotten to such a point where white people hate white people. Yeah. And if that's the case, when you are the majority, what's going to happen when you're the minority? And it's not going to be great. So that kind of slowly getting me to kind of understand that started to open the doors for other things as well. And I became more open to a lot of other stuff on the right, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's I really appreciate that you could first of all sharing that, but that you even remember that so many people who consider themselves leftists at some point, anti-white, when they come away from that perspective, they don't recall a specific thought, argument, concept, or whatever it might be that really was the fulcrum for the big part of their shift, pushing them over the center line and having them rethink things. And it clearly, you felt a sense of safety because when you were over there and you were afflicted with white guilt, you felt a sense of safety because you could, what we refer to it as villainy signaling. It's everybody else refers to as virtue signaling, but you could villainy signal that, well, who cares? Let's bring in all of these other folks. And because deep in your heart, you were thinking, nothing's going to happen to me because there's a ton of white people. Nothing's going to happen to the white people I care about, my children, my parents, my sisters, whatever it might be, brothers, because there are a ton of us. But now it's the moment you realized that, well, wait a second, we are radically being outnumbered and all over the West, and that they're not good to us now. What's it going to be like? Anti-whites of all races, what's it going to be like? And you're right, they're not going to know. And they're not going to care either, Brittany. I mean, we're going to say, we say here that you have to not only be anti-white enough for right now, but you have to be anti-white enough for all time, because 10 years from now, they could say, you could be just vociferously anti-white. 10 years from now, they could say, weren't you a member of a club where there were too many white people? And you will own up to that. There's no escaping it. And then they'll want to punish you for it. They'll want to victimize you for it. Yeah, that's how they work.
And there's no way to fight back because they just deplatform you. You're getting called racist. You get called you lose your job. I mean, there's nothing you can do to fight back. And again, we're still the majority. So it really freaks me out that there's no way to counter it when we should have the power to counter it. And what's that going to be like as that power starts to really, really shift? And it's going to shift. So it's scary.
Oh, it's already radically anti-white. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Once there are too few of us for our number to be a threat to anti-whites, they'll just want to move forward with all the victimization that they can as quickly as they can. I said when I was in junior high school, I said, eventually they're going to vote the house away from us and the car out from under our ass. And it'll be legal because they'll have the vote to do it, and they'll have the. Everybody said, I was like 12 years old when I said that. Everybody said, "Oh, that's stupid. That could never happen." But we see that kind of stuff happening all the time.
Yeah, and then the sentiment is, well, they have it coming, basically. So nobody's sympathetic towards the white person because they feel like it's almost, oh, well, you deserve it now. For all the things that have happened in the past, you deserve it. So, oh, well. Whereas people don't have that same sentiment towards a lot of minorities because they feel like they have been harmed. So everybody's trying to, you know, pander to them and cater to them. And that's not going to be the case for white people. So,
no, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And I say, talking about junior high school, I got into an argument there where I said, if I can't hold the brother of a non-white rapist responsible for a rape that the other brother, the rapist brother, committed this morning, if I can't hold that brother responsible, how can you hold me responsible at 12 years old for the so-called crimes, whether they happened or not, of white people hundreds of years ago, 1,000 years ago? But of course, they can't. It's not objectively legitimate, but it's just arguments. It's just pretexts to victimize us. That's, you deserve it. It's just, I mean, think about it. When you're carrying a white baby in your womb, and that white baby, according to the anti-whites, deserves victimization. I mean, it's sickening.
Yeah, it's scary too.
Yeah, it really is. Scary. So back to your show. At some point, you all were rocking it, right? Over on YouTube, and things were, you were bringing on guests left and right. And what I guess happened was some of these guests said some things that angered YouTube. And what actually I wanted to ask too about maybe what that would be if you think you can pinpoint it. And also what were some of the most outrageous things that happened at that Acme?
So what we were doing, I mean, we had shows we were putting out content literally like every single day, sometimes 2 debates a day. It was debate. Yeah, we had a lot of content coming out, and that's probably what helped with our growth as well, because you're constantly putting out content, you're going to keep growing. But we started doing these pop-on drink and chat panels, and that's probably where it got us. The debates were always fine. Like, we didn't have any problems with TOS violations. I mean, we still had spicy debates, but they were easier to manage. But for like a pop-on drink and chat where you're just inviting guests that aren't really scheduled, and people are drinking and they're, you know, coming at each other, and a lot of the people who have already been deplatformed, so in their vocabulary, they're used to like a certain way where they will slip with the F slur, they'll slip with the T slur, things like that, because they're getting triggered and drinking. And so it's a little bit on me knowing certain people that have a very hard time with TOS, like for bringing them on in those environments. Cause I mean, I knew that was going to happen at some point, but I feel like if they're going to have a strike system, use the strike system. We didn't get any strikes. We just lost our channel one day.
Wow. Yeah. You know, what strikes me though, as to use that word strike, is that if you have a channel where you are allowing what effectively anti-whites or people who consider themselves leftists are debating those who are of a contrary opinion, and that contrary opinion continues to triumph again and again and again, I could see the anti-whites at YouTube saying, we just got to shut this down. We can't let folks see that our arguments are hollow. No,
it's true. Well, something I noticed, and this is probably what kind of made it so much easier for me to be open to some of the... I also don't know if I would have been necessarily as open to some of the arguments with Trump around, because I had such a seething hatred for Trump that I think I was closed off to a lot of stuff. But without him there, I kind of felt a little bit like I was discovering my politics a little bit more, because I was never even into politics until Trump came along. Oh, okay. So I was like kind of, all right, now what type of thing. And now I'm like listening to actual policies and stuff. But the thing I noticed, the difference between left-wingers and right-wingers when they debate, is so many of the right-wingers, since they have been deplatformed, since they have like been shoved off the internet, when they're given these opportunities to have a debate, they are actually trying to get their arguments out. Whereas left-wingers, they're allowed on any platform they want to go. So they don't really have to do all of that. They're just kind of performative and playing around and trying to just, you know, say what they think they're supposed to say. They're not trying to convince anybody of anything. But that's not the case with right-wingers. They're actually trying to get a message out to people that are like normies that will listen in an opportunity that they don't normally get. So their arguments are better.
That's a fantastic point. It absolutely is the case. What do you think about this purchase of 10% of Twitter by Elon Musk?
I hope he purchases YouTube next. Like, get YouTube now. But I hope he's able to bring back people that were deplatformed. I hope that the TOS isn't going to be as crazy, because I think there was a time in Twitter where it was, people really enjoy Twitter. Nobody's choosing to get off of Twitter. It's a good platform. You get a lot there. You get the news. You get to be able to interact with people instead of areas where it's like Facebook, you are going to be talking to your friends, like your circles. You're not really talking too much of other people, but since it's public and you can really interact with anybody. I mean, you can interact with people that have huge platforms, and a lot of times they'll even interact back. It gives like a voice to people that don't normally get that. And then when you've skewed it in such a way, and Twitter is so powerful, where if something goes trending on Twitter, it becomes actual national news, but only one side's able to have control of that. It's just a cycle that keeps going, and there's no way to counter it. So I hope he's able to get people back on. I hope there's Twitter goes back to a day where, it's like free speech, but like, there should be obviously limits. I think legality should be like the limits, like people start doing stuff like that. But otherwise, I think that, there's a lot of people that bring Trump back, bring Fuentes back, bring a lot of these people back.
I agree completely. I hope that's the case. I think I saw last night, I guess it was on the news, the Fox News, the losers that they are. They were talking about the how outraged anti-whites are over at Twitter, making comments about we should leave and make our own platform. Well, Twitter, of course, is your platform. And what did they really want to do there? They silenced us by kicking us off the platform, or they shadow banned us, which I'm shadow banned, and on Twitter, so that our speech, our views can't be heard. So now there's the possibility of the shadow banning, at least a slim possibility. We don't know for sure. A slim possibility of maybe shadow bans being lifted, and maybe folks being able to say things on Twitter that contradict anti-white narrative, challenge the anti-white orthodoxy across the West, and that people will be allowed to stay and do so. And the anti-whites know they want a platform where they can absolutely control, destroy, silence us, shadow ban us. That's all they want. I mean, they're just admitting. And the thing is about Twitter is that I don't know exactly how it's going to work, the voting for shareholders. But I think their big fear is that there are folks at Twitter who are maybe not as radically anti-white, and they will heed arguments about free speech that he's probably going to make, and he would be able to get enough votes then to really make changes.
Well, like when because I lost my account, my personal account on there. I have a new one, but for like, I never broke a TOS of any sort, but there was, Fuentes, he had a Twitter space one time, and there was like, I don't know, like 500 people in there just listening, and every single person that was just listening in that Twitter space lost their account permanently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, big purge that happened there. So, I mean, that was like right after that new CEO like came in too. So it was odd timing, but yeah, we lost our accounts. I had to again start over. I mean, I'm getting used to like the dissident right treatment, losing things, and we went through like 5 or 6 Discord servers. Wow. I guess when you have like a space that is going to have both left and right wingers, it's so hard to manage that balance, because each side is kind of like trying to monopolize on it and like trying to dominate it. And when we had our spaces, like the left wingers are always trying to have me get rid of right wingers, and you can't really make certain rules because a lot of them become very subjective. Yes. And if you are not following it right, then they start to complain. So it's easier to have very minimal ruling on those. But it's just, I don't know. Left wingers have been able to control a lot of these spaces for so long, and don't understand why they can't just, there's block buttons there. You can change the channel. You don't have to go to certain things. Like even with YouTube, if you're worried about your advertisers, just demonetize somebody and let them have a channel. Like, you don't have to. There's ways around it where you don't have to just kick people out of these spaces. Right. And like with COVID too, especially, when we were all on lockdown for what, like a year or two, and you couldn't congregate, you couldn't go into spaces together. So the only space you really had to be able to do that was the internet. So yeah, like I don't think the founders really planned for COVID and the internet age, but you are kind of taking away your First Amendment right when you're purging people off the internet, and that's the only place you can speak, really. But
yes, very well said. Exactly. It's the public square. And if this were turned around and it were white people, well, first of all, white people don't control anything for the benefit of white people. That's every white person knows that. But if there were white people who ran Twitter, for example, for the benefit of white people, the government would immediately step in and to say, no, this is a public square and you have to allow everybody to be on your platform. It's only because it's the other way around that they don't. You know, you raise an interesting point I want to ask about. When you began to move away from that leftist ideology and thought, did you have some trepidation, some fear about that cult-like nature of the left, that you were going to end up being the one silenced, that you were going to end up being the one maligned as things that you clearly were not?
I see, for me, like when it kind of started, and I remember it perfectly because I figured I kind of put in enough good grace where people knew I'm not coming from a bad place. I'm not coming from a hateful place. I don't hate anybody when I say these things. Like I never hated anybody. It's more of a self-preservation thing when I worry about what could happen. And I don't think saying these kinds of things and worrying about some kind of future that is likely coming is a bad thing or a racist thing. I really don't. When people talk about a future of like climate change or whatever, they're planning for a future that they believe is going to be a huge deal. And that is something I think a lot of white people are worried about and should plan for it before it's too late. So when I started to talk about this and kind of just bring it up, I didn't go bring it out in full, like, you know, I kind of started with just immigration. Saying that I think that it's better if we don't have immigration, we should close the borders. And that's kind of where I started. I started asking questions and it was just instantly left-wingers freaked out on me. I was completely ostracized, calling me Nazi Barbie, calling me every name in the book. I got, like people were boycotting our platform. We lost a lot of left-wingers that didn't want to come on anymore because, now we were a Nazi platform. But then also that did leave a vacuum because we were still running our show. And so, a lot more of the dissident right kind of did take over the show a little bit and gave them more opportunities to start red pilling people. And I never wanted our show to skew one way or the other. I did want it to be kind of even. But again, having a space with both sides is very difficult to have it even. It's like nearly impossible to make it that way. But and that you're saying that's primarily because people who consider themselves leftists want to control who appears and what kind of speech and topics and that sort of thing. Yeah. And if they can't, then they'll try to, if they can't tell you how to run your stuff, they'll go over your head and try to shut you down completely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's basically what they did. We would get mass reported for everything. So like we couldn't have even just the most minor slip up. A lot of channels, they can, if something happens on their channel, most of their people that are watching are just going to be like, you know, on their side and stuff. But when you have a community where like both sides hate each other and have like people who are really trying to come at you, the slightest slip up, you're going to get reported like crazy. You can't, there's no room for error. And so it happens.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen these different channels on YouTube that are, you know, vehemently anti-white, and they actively talk about we will end this channel. We will end their ability to broadcast or talk here or there, rather than saying we have a better argument. Yeah, we have a better position. Yeah, it's just all about we will silence them so that they can't speak. And
they have the power to do it too.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, that's really what they end up resorting to. What are some of the I mean, you mentioned immigration. What are some of the other kind of topics that you all debate or talk about over on Politically Provoked?
We do like mostly social issues. Like I really enjoy the spiciest topics. I think that's like they're entertaining, they're different, they're unique. Like not a lot of people are talking about it. I find some of the economics, I think it's a little bit boring. We'll do it and stuff, but I do find it to be a bit boring. But the social issues is what I find to be the most interesting, at least. So that's kind of what I try to plan the most. But again, because we are a platform where we'll have like, you know, entry-level debaters that nobody really knows of, we like to help people build their own platform as well. And we've tried to do that. And a good way to do that is through debates. So we'll have like people that nobody's ever heard of debating and set things up, and even with bigger debaters, and help people get their own name out. So we like doing that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Who are, I mean, you mentioned Destiny, you mentioned Fuentes, you mentioned Mark Collett. Who are some of the other notables that you have on, even if you think we might not know? Who are some of the other notables that you have on pretty regularly?
Regularly, okay, well, regularly is
semi-regularly.
I mean, we've had a lot of different people on, but regularly, like Destiny's probably one of the biggest that we would have on, I guess, regularly. Yeah, and we have a lot of the groypers on now, especially when we be on Cozy. It's going to be pretty groyper dominated. Brandon Martinez, we've had him on for a lot of debates. Okay. We were supposed to do the Eric Stryker and Mike Enoch, the Holocaust debate, but we're not going to be getting that anymble. But we have had Eric Stryker on for interview. I think he's really interesting. We've who else? God, I can't really think off the top of my head. I feel like my chat.
Well, if any of the
Sean Last, he's been on. He's going to be doing a debate for us on Wednesday as well. Yeah, Sean Last. Yeah, I knew my chat might help me out a little bit. Richard Spencer, we've had him on a bunch of times for debates.
Yeah, I've saw him on.
Thanks, chat. You guys are good.
That's coming to your rescue.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, you're going to be on Cozy TV next. That's part of your future. What other platforms do you stream to?
So for Cozy TV, that's going to be our main channel for our show. For me personally, like when I'm doing something like this, I probably wouldn't, because I'm streaming right now, but I'll stream my own content to Twitch. We have Odyssey as well, but I don't know, Odyssey is not really working very well for us. Like I'll still stream there, but I just feel like Odyssey has some ways to go before it gets to a better place. It's glitchy. I don't know, it's not really very user friendly. Like I really do think Cozy's probably one of the best alt platforms I've seen. Just the whole layout is very good, so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, Twitch is where I do like my own content. If I'm going to do a debate, I'll do it on Twitch. If I'm going to be interviewed, I'll do it on Twitch. I'm trying to not be the content for when I'm on Cozy, because being an e-girl and getting onto a groyper platform was like a miracle on its own. So I'm just avoiding being the content there as I and just have the show for there.
Right. Well, I mean, as much as you'd be willing to talk about that, so are you harassed, maligned? Are you?
I mean, they'll hate me a little bit and stuff. So, okay, so I told, this is funny. So I told them, all right, if you guys let me on Cozy for my first stream, I will wear a burqa. I mean, it started into a big meme, but for the first hour, I will be in a burqa on that Cozy stream because I did promise them. So I'm now burqa Brittany. I'm getting 1 hour. They get 1 hour in. Oh shit. Okay, I thought I lost my stream. Yeah, they get 1 hour in the burqa, and that's it. So that'll be on Tuesday. They're very excited about that, and I'll never live it down, but it's fun.
Well, Lana Lockteff did a Halloween in one. So
did she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking it all the way through. I got a red burqa, and I have my red background, so I'm just gonna be like eyes in this like politically. Oh god, it's gonna be so ridiculous. That's really
funny. So yeah, I could see them doing that. Do they? Is it mostly just good natured because like
you'll get a few that slip through the cracks because it's kind of like they can be pretty harsh on women in general. It's taken a lot of time to be able to get them to ease up on me. I've had times in the beginning where they were pretty harsh, but once I think they get to know you, they can kind of separate you a little bit from what they think. Like they just don't want women online, basically, and I get it. They want a traditional go back to tradition, but they're also young. Like we're talking about Zoomers that I call them the social media generation. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Zoomers to find women that are not online. They're all going to be online. They all grew up in a social media era.
Right.
So, like, they're gonna at some point have to accept it. It's gonna be hard to find a girl that's not online. Like, it's gonna be tricky. I mean, I wish you luck, but it's gonna be tricky to do. I mean, I get not having like, you know, OnlyFans girls. That makes sense. Or some of these girls that do some of this stuff, but having a social media or whatever, it's just not. It's really not going to be realistic.
So they have Mama Malkin. Are you going to be Burka Brittany? I mean, is that going to
Burka Brittany? Inshallah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, when you go to speak at the next conference, Fuentes conference, you'll have to wear the burqa.
I'll just send somebody else. They won't even know who. They won't know who's under there. Oh my God. It's so funny.
And what about, are any of them trying to hit on you or pick you up, or are they just...
No, they're literally, some of these guys are like my son's age. I mean, like, these guys are young. They're all very young now. I mean,
what do you want to do with the show moving forward? I mean, you're going to be over there at Cozy. You'll be doing your private streaming to Twitch and Odyssey. But what do you want to do, I guess, overall with the show? And where do you see it going? Well,
when we lost our YouTube, I kind of stopped doing a lot of debates. We still had our pop-on panels because I didn't have to put in a lot of planning towards it. But some of these debates, I mean, it takes a lot of work to get this stuff done. When I was planning this inaugural stream, initially we were going to have like 5 debates, and getting 10 people, working with 10 people for one day, getting the time slots, making this happen. I swear it was cancer. It was the nightmare trying to do. Everything fell apart. It was supposed to be on Saturday, and the entire thing fell through. But it is a lot of work. And so when you're working on platforms that are glitchy, that like are just not working out right, and trying to put that work, and it's just not worth it. So I enjoy putting out content. I enjoy doing that stuff, but I wasn't going to put in that much work for a platform that's barely functioning. So now that we're at Cozy and we got a stable platform, we're going to be putting out content again. So we got a lot of debates coming up. We got debates all this coming week. We'll have a bunch of debates next week. So we'll be back in action.
Fantastic. Are there any that you can leak here? What kind of debates are going to be taking place in the coming weeks?
Well, we have the Sean Last debate. Obviously, that's on Wednesday. We have a lot of them are going to be with some groypers. We were supposed to have a Brandon Martinez debate, but I don't think that'll be on Cozy. But we have, let's see here. God, what else do we have?
Any specific topics? Or the topic you want to see debated?
Yeah, a lot of them are going to be, we got the race realism debate will be on Wednesday with Sean Last. We have we got some trans issues debates with some trans people. We've got God, what else do we have? I'd have to look.
Where's Brittany's chat? Maybe they know.
Yeah,
they can chime in.
So actually, I don't even know if like they know all of the stuff that I plan. I'd have to look at my calendar. But yeah, we got. Oh God, yeah, they're talking about abortion. We still have to deal with like a bunch of abortion debates. Like, there's only so many abortion debates I could do. But yeah, we have no abortion debates like on the schedule, you guys. So no.
What do the groypers want debate wise? Do they write to you and say, "I'd like to see this or that debated on your show"?
Well, a lot of the people that we've actually had on our show have been by request from chat. I mean, like you, were requested by actually, I think, a groyper.
Wow. Okay,
so cool. That's how we ended up talking to you. But because I got thrusted into these worlds. Like, I don't really have a lot of time to watch people's content and stuff. So anybody that's been on our show from between the left and the right and everywhere in between has usually been at the request of our chat. Cool. So I've had a lot of times where I didn't even know the people that I was like interviewing and stuff, and I'd have to kind of get to know them through these, which I kind of enjoy. But it's just been fun kind of learning all these different people and seeing what's what. But yeah, they kind of know better, and I just kind of listen to whatever they want.
Well, you gotta feed the audience.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that was the great Mr. Bloom who brought us together. Yeah, to salute that champion when I have the opportunity to do so.
He's good people.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a heck of a next couple of weeks and months
Yeah.
ahead of Politically Provoked and Brittany here. What
Brittany.
Brittany over there on Cozy TV, folks. And
Yes.
what was how do they search? What's the name of the channel?
Yeah, if you go to cozy.tv/politically provoked.
Okay, that's it.
We are over there. You can follow us.
Do you before we get any of your final thoughts here, and I'd be fantastic to have you back.
Yeah, of course.
But do you foresee, enjoy, or want a more of like a blood sport atmosphere for these debates, or do you want it to be more, or maybe a mix of something a little bit more analytical?
So we want to be able to have a little bit of everything. Like, one thing we would ask during our interviews for the library is, are you okay with blood sports, or are you not okay with blood sports? Because if you are okay with blood sports and we'll match you up, we'll be more hands-off during a debate. If you are okay and the other person's not, we might step in, or we'll match you up with people that are both not okay with blood sports. So we'll basically do what the people who want to do debates want. It's like less about what we want and more about just what the debaters want. We just like good content. We like good debates. We like people who just enjoy doing debates. So it's really pretty much everything.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward. I'm definitely going to watch Mark's and a couple of the others. I'm interested in that. And what days of the week, or is it every day, or how often are you? Yeah,
we will probably be close to every day. I think Friday will be like the main days we take off. I mean, there'll be other days we probably will take off here and there, but at least for the next few weeks, it'll probably be almost every day. The majority will try to be at like around 7 p.m. Eastern. We kind of want to make sure we're done before Nick's show. But every Saturday night we do our pop on drink and chat panels, and so those are kind of just unpredictable. We just have people come on, whoever wants to come on, and just hang out and talk. We have like a topic wheel, and so we'll spin the wheel and see whatever the topic is, and we'll kind of all talk about that. And so they're fun.
Very cool. Very cool. So it'll be 7 p.m. Eastern time. Is that?
Yeah, it's when a lot of the debates will be. The inaugural stream on Tuesday will either be starting at either 3 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Eastern, depends on when the debate starts, because I'm going to go on an hour before with the freaking burqa. Jesus Christ. But that will be going pretty much all night. It'll be an all-day stream.
All right, that's cool. And then it goes. Typically, the show is an hour long or 2 hours.
The debate
for almost 2 hours, I think.
The debates could be anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours. We'll do sometimes. It depends on, like, I kind of just feel it out, see if like the debates feels like it needs to keep on going or not.
Right.
And then we'll do about 30 minutes of Q&A from the chats and stuff. But yeah, the debates are about an hour to an hour and a half.
Cool. Well, you have any final thoughts before I let you go? It's been fantastic having a conversation with you. We'll definitely bring you back on here.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's been really fun. I enjoyed it. So yeah, let me know anytime you want to have me back on, and we should definitely get you back on too.
I'll happily show up. You just let me know when.
Absolutely.
All right, Brittany. It's been a great conversation, folks. I can tell a lot of you are very interested in Brittany and the show over there. Check it out. And I will be as well. But thank you for coming on, Brittany.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.